lovely people, it's Rebecca here. Welcome to my little corner of YouTube. Over here I like to talk about making my own garments and how I do that by upcycling, or which patterns or which fabrics I use. If you're interested in that, keep watching. After work today, I did a little workout with a friend, and by the time I got home, it was dark. This time of year, when I'm getting up in the dark and coming home in the dark, I find that really difficult. So I start reaching for tried and true things that bring me great comfort. There have been loads of studies done that all confirm that the reason we reach for the same things over and over again, whether it's rereading the same books, remaking the same patterns, or rewatching the same movies or TV shows, is that it helps us regulate our emotions. We know what's coming. There's no surprises, and that actually brings us comfort in having the known around us. These are my known things that I reach for when I need a little bit of comfort. I'm going to start off with current patterns that I'm going to remake, and then I'm also going to show you a few authors that I love, a few dinner recipes that are tried and true dinner recipes, and a few cake recipes, and perhaps a couple of snacks. If you've been watching me for a while, then my first pattern will be no surprise to you. I've made 2 of these blouses for myself and 1 as a gift for one of my sisters, and that is the Finch top by Charlie Darwin Designs. I've got this on my list to make a 3rd one for myself. It just feels it's a really nice fit for me, and a couple of little features that I really like. It's got quite a lot of diversity in the type of collars you can put on, and I think it would be quite easy to lengthen the sleeves and also lengthen the blouse to make into a dress, and I'm considering doing that as well. The next pattern that is a tried and true for me is the first trouser pattern that actually worked and I felt I could happily wear, and that is the Birch Grove pants by Moona and Broad. These have a slightly tapered leg and a really generous pocket. That is the favorite pocket I've ever made on any garment. And I realized it's been at least 18 months since I've made a pair of these, so I think I'm going to make a new pair shortly. The 3rd pattern I have only made once, but it was a real win for me because I did not have to make any alterations to get a good fit on it, and it is a pair of trousers, so that's almost miraculous. These are a pair of trousers by Merchant and Mills, and they are called the Quinn trousers. They have a fixed waistband, they have no zip, they have 2 pairs of button plackets down each side, and there's a small tie at the back to cinch in the waist if you need that cinched in. Be aware that if you go the larger size bracket from the 18 to whatever it goes up to, the waist is actually elasticated at the back and not a fixed waist, if that's what you're looking for. These are a little bit fitted at the top, and then they go out into a wide leg. I really loved the fit when I made these, so I think I'll be looking to make another pair or 2. They are the 3 tried and true patterns that are on my mind at the moment, and I think will bring me great comfort to remake. Let me introduce you to a few authors that also bring me great comfort, and I do love rereading all of anything from these authors. They are all a little bit about found family and have a little bit of magical realism in there. Okay, my first author is called Sarah Addison Allen, and anything by her is fantastic. This one especially, garden spells, a couple of sisters finding themselves, and a little bit of magic. It's just a really, really sweet read with a little bit of depth, but not too heavy. All of my favorite reads are probably like that. A little bit of depth, but not too heavy and cumbersome to read. My next favorite author is Kathy Lamb, and a couple of my recommendations from her are Henry's Sisters. She does write with some sadness. There's always lightness and hope, but there is some sadness to get to the lightness and hope. So Henry's Sisters, family, the bits we like and the bits we don't like, and how we emerge from our families and the families that we make ourselves. And these covers are not inspiring, but I do love this book. I think this was the first one she ever got published, Kathy Lamb, and it's called Julia's Chocolates. This is about a woman breaking away from an abusive relationship and finding herself and finding happiness, and it's a really lovely read. If you're looking for something really light-hearted with a little bit of magic and a little bit of a giggle, there's an author I really enjoy called Penny Reid, and she has written a series all about brothers with beards, and they're quite well written and also quite a hoot. This one is the first one in the series. It's called Truth or Beard. They are a little bit spicy as well. Be warned. This week, I also reached for some comfort meals that I hadn't made in a long time. I reached for an online recipe from an Australian chef called Belinda Jeffrey. She is one of my favorite recipe writers, and the recipe I reached for is called Gently Spiced Shepherd's Pie. I love this recipe. It makes a good large amount that lasts me nearly the whole week. I do make a couple of changes. It calls for potato on top, and I do probably about a third potato and 2/3 sweet potato, because I find it just has a bit of extra flavor and a little bit more health benefits. I love this recipe because it's chock full of flavor. It's not your average shepherd's pie. She adds some spices and some herbs. She adds cinnamon and a bit of chili and herbs like parsley and mint, and it just makes it really flavoursome. The other thing I change in this recipe is she calls for all lamb mince. I find that quite rich, and I do half lamb, half beef to give it a good richness, but not an overwhelming flavour. All these things that I'm mentioning, I'll pop in the links below just in case you're interested in checking them out. Another one of my faves is Nagi. She's become a bit of an Australian legend, Nagi Maharshi, and she has a chana masala recipe in here. So if you're looking for something without meat, it's really, really easy. It's in a section, I think, just called kitchen. Oh, I've forgotten the section. It's recipes made with things you've probably got in your pantry cupboard. So chickpeas, and just easy and flavoursome. I love baking cakes. I love eating them, and I love sharing them. A couple of my favorite cakes I hadn't made for a long time, and I remade them this week, and they did bring me comfort with a cup of tea and with a friend. And then I took the rest to work and shared the rest of the cakes. One of them is from this book, which I think a lot of us have had for a very long time. You can see all my markings. And this is at the very front of the book. It's one of my favorite cakes ever. It's very, very easy and yet very, very flavoursome. Now that I've said that, I can't find it. It is the lemon syrup loaf cake. Oh gosh, it's so worn. I've worn off the page number. I think it's page 13. Lemon syrup loaf cake. I love that it's a bit tangy and a bit sweet, and it's just a good texture. I remade the recipe this week gluten-free. The recipe in the book calls for self-raising flour. The person I was sharing the cake with is a gluten-free person, so I exchanged the self-raising flour with Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking flour, gluten-free baking flour, and then I added half a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder, and that was a really nice mix. It rose really nicely, cooked really well, and then you pour the syrup over the top, let it sink in, and eat away to your heart's content. Very delicious. The second cake I remade and enjoyed last weekend was sour cream coffee cake with a streusel. So it's just a lovely sour cream cake, and coffee cake in America means you eat it with your coffee, not that it's coffee flavored. A bit confusing for the rest of the world. This is King Arthur Baking's recipe, and so it's online. I'll put the link below. I love this recipe. It's really easy and it works every single time. The actual kind of like vanilla cake is delicious, but then you put a layer of vanilla, sugar and pecans in the middle, and then you put it on top of as well, so the top becomes really crunchy and crusty and delicious. So it's got good texture as well as great flavor. I am a big lover of snacks, and I often just grab a snack for dinner instead of a whole meal because I love them. One of the things I have sitting around for snacks is just some grape tomatoes, because I love small, crunchy, flavoursome things. So I rinse those and then just have them sitting on the bench in a little bowl. Coming up to Easter, one of my favourite things, Cadbury mini eggs with the crunchy speckled exterior. This is the first packet I've bought. I haven't opened it yet. Yum. If you have some tried and true things that bring you comfort, please share them in the comments below. It might be a pattern, it might be a recipe, sweet or savory, it might be a certain author or book or a TV show. I'd love to hear what are your comfort bakes, makes, reads or watches when you need a little bit of self-care and a little bit of self-regulation. What do you reach for? I hope you're well. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I look forward to coming back and sharing some of my latest makes with you soon. Bye for now, everyone.